I'm Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, and this is What the Heck, the podcast that dives into what the heck is going on in the world of health and well-being, explores how to optimize your mindset and your lifestyle, and shares practical tools so that you can achieve your fullest potential. Join me and a special guest each week as we discuss everything from biohacking to diet personalization to cutting-edge detox methods to setting and staying accountable to your goals. Ready to find out what the heck you can do to stay healthy, sharp, and at the top of your game? Let's get started. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp and welcome to the What the Heck podcast, where each week I either interview a guest or cover some important information about health, mindset, energy, and all of that. And today what we're going to talk about is productivity and energy management. And because I really think those two go together. Are you productive or just busy? And I think it's a question we have to ask ourselves. And I have a whole chapter in my book about this, in my book, Hack Your Health Habits. And this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you 8 different hacks that you can do to be more aware of your productivity and, little tricks to make you more productive. So what is productivity and how can we maximize it? Well, productivity is really trying to get organizing our time, but also our energy. And I think that aspect, it's not just about a to-do list, it's about our state of mind and going with our rhythm during the day, and we'll talk about that. But it's also about focusing on what we want to get done and prioritizing things. So here's I love this slide here. We feel like time is, we're running after time or time is running after us. I'm not sure some days, but I often tell people, how many hours, or ask people how many hours in one week. So 168 hours. And in terms of, how much time we spend, 56 hours sleeping, if we all sleep a good solid 8 hours. 40 hours of work, give or take, it depends on the person, 7 hours of eating, 10 hours of house chores or, things, that you need to do to sustain your lifestyle, and 10 hours of, let's say kid activity and volunteering. So what is left is 33 hours. And when people say, I don't have time, I'm like, well, where are those 33 hours? So we never don't have time. We just don't prioritize things. And, it just makes me remember something that I read several years ago is if you want to know what people value, look at 2 things, their calendar and their checkbook. I'm dating myself with checks here, but it's what people will value and will put their attention on that will get done. So if you're going to the gym or getting in shape and you're not scheduling your workout into your calendar, it's not going to happen and it's not really a priority. And same thing where you spend on money. So to say that we don't have time, don't get me wrong, we're all busy, and I myself sometimes feel like, wow, I have so much to do, but it's all about prioritizing things and also not taking too much on our plate, because if you have a to-do list that's never ending, it's never a good feeling to be catching up with that. So talked earlier about energy management when it comes to productivity, because oftentimes we are going to feel like we don't have any juice left. And, I'll talk a little bit more about that, of doing things in your day when your energy is at it's highest. And I remember reading that book, Eat That Frog, that was guiding people or suggesting to people that they do their biggest task first. And some people like to go at it that way. Some people like to gain momentum and feel like they're checking stuff of the, their to-do list, but just making sure that we're managing our energy, because a task or something might take us so much longer if we're not in the rhythm. So a couple Sorry, here a couple of questions that, I'm all about asking the right question. And, in the book, I talk about the think it over. So do you follow your natural energy rhythm to maximize your productivity throughout the day? So really important. And second question, what are your biggest distraction, and do you have strategies to get them under control? And we're going to elaborate on that. And are you making the healthy choices needed to keep your energy levels high? And that's, about the food that you're consuming. If you're, let's say, at lunch, consume, a heavy plate of pasta, chances are your energy is going to dip and you're not going to be so productive at all, actually, in the afternoon if you're not falling asleep. So in terms of distraction that I mentioned, I think it's important to acknowledge now how much we are being bombarded by information and by the media. I mean, I got this from a Nielsen study on a market research study that people can take back 13.5 years. Yes, 13.5 years of their life by reducing the amount of television that they watch. So think about that. So, again, priority, and I'm not saying that, watching some television, sometime is awful. But again, it's those times, those situations that will just eat our time. I mean, how many of us have gone on Facebook to check something, and an hour later you're on so-and-so's, business page and looking at this? So it's easy because technology is there. It's fast. There's so much of that. So I think we have to be really, really, really cognizant of that. And oftentimes, I'll say to myself, okay, I'm not going on Facebook or on my social media, and I'll set certain times to do that, especially for people who have businesses. But I also have friends sometimes that do the social media detox or the television detox. They say, okay, we're not opening the TV set or watching anything. So all of those things can really suck our productivity. There's no other way to say it. So here are 8 productivity hacks that I'd like to talk about. Prioritizing our task in order of importance. And again, I go back to our levels of energy. And I know myself, my energy is so much better in the morning. So I do, my writing, my reading, anything that I know is going to require a lot of concentration on my part. I do it in the morning because I'm so much faster and efficient. I personally try not to do calls at night or webinars or anything like that because I know that I'm just not at my best. So prioritizing our energy is important, and the task that, where we know our energy. I know some people like to work out in the morning and then do other, tasks that requires them to concentrate. And some people, work out at lunch and then they feel so much more productive in their afternoon. So you really have to go with your energy and where you're feeling most productive, but also making sure that you have the right tools in place when it comes to your food and your sleep to manage that energy. Because I think the most productive people are the people that can sustain, a certain amount of focus and energy throughout the day. But I'm also going to talk about the importance of breaks as well. So here and in the book, I talk about personal prime time, and it's scheduling, the decision-making process early on in the day if you know that you're going to be more fresh, and most people are. And the personal prime time that I'm talking about is finding the time and implementing a routine, with your meditation, with your eating, or if you're fasting, you're not going to have that component, but with your exercise and your mindset. So that it is, 15 minutes that you do the same thing every day, or you incorporate those components. I think it's really important. So, some people are more night owls, and, they seem to be so much more productive. So you kind of have to go with your rhythm. Nobody is the same. And I think we also change as we age. I remember when I was in university having energy at night, and now, it seems like my rhythms have changed. So making sure that you are doing things when you're fresh, and mornings are often where people have more energy. I talked earlier about knowing your distraction and knowing what they are and making sure that you don't have access to them. So sometimes you'll be putting the cell phone away. I know some people that work in a workplace where it's all open. It might be putting your earphones with some music to not get distracted. So whatever it takes for you to be focused, and I'll talk about a tool that I use here. I call it my productivity cube, and kind of a timer that you say, okay, I'm going to work on this without distraction, and so you chunk your day into sections. So distractions are huge, and like I said, the media and marketing is trying to get our attention every different ways. So we really have to be careful with that. Otherwise, we get sucked in to reading and watching what they want us to do. So logging our time, I know that I often do that. I'll plan my day. Actually, I like to plan my day the day prior, so I know exactly what needs to get done in terms of priority, in terms of orders. And I think that really helps also to see where you are wasting time during your day. And not to say that, you have to be on for 16 hours. It's important to, take breaks and so forth. We'll talk about that. But, knowing where you're spending your time and when you write it down, just like, people say, oh, I eat well. And, I get them to write down what they eat. And then they look at it and say, oh, geez, yeah, maybe I don't eat so well. So writing some stuff down and tracking has tremendous value. The next one here is exactly a picture of what I call my productivity cube. So it's this fun little cube, and I think I have it on my other desk, so I can't show you, but it has sides actually that, it's either 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and you just, the way you have the cube land on your table will trigger the 60 minutes or the 5 minutes. So if you need to get something done, no distraction, turn some stuff off and say, okay, I'm going to work on this for 60 minutes, and then you just go. So it just beeps. It's just a fun thing to have, and it just really makes you aware of your time and really helps, monitor where you're spending your time. So I think I purchased this little tool online, and I just love it. I think it makes it playful. And for some people, it might be, making sure that they get up from their computers because they're sitting all day. So you can really leverage that little productivity cube for a good purpose. Hack number 6 is to delegate. And I always say, work on your strengths and delegate your weaknesses. I think it's the best way to be happy and also be productive. Now, I know some stuff we can't always delegate, and there are certain things that we need to do. It could be house stuff, or it could be business stuff. It could be work stuff, but try to delegate as much as you possibly can, because anytime that we do something that sucks our energy, that battery that I was saying with our own mental and physical energy is going to get drained, and we're not going to be very productive. So I believe we should challenge ourselves to stretch ourselves to learn new things. But if there are things that you just plain and simple don't like to do, and somebody else actually might enjoy doing them, I think it's worth it to delegate. Hack number 7, taking time to rejuvenate, I think is crucial. We are not robots. We are human beings, and we need that time to decompress. Just again, from a sitting point of view, research is showing that we should get up every 30 minutes. So including those breaks during the day is crucial, especially for the people that are sitting. For people that are using stand-up desk, obviously we can go a little bit longer, but taking time to go for a walk, breathe some fresh air, do something that is completely different, especially if you have a job that requires you to be, focused all the time. I think it's truly important to take those breaks. those breaks, because you're going to be just so much more productive after. Hack number 8 is to be congruent with your values and beliefs. What I mean by this is that if we're working on projects or on tasks that are, at a subconscious level are creating a conflict with, who we are, and that's called actually cognitive dissonance, what will happen is that, it's going to decrease our energy, and we're not going to be fulfilling our passions, and, our drive and so forth is going to be lower because we're just not congruent. I'll give you an example. I years ago sat on a board of a local group here, and just after, many years of sitting on the board, I just, realized that I was no longer gaining energy from the group, and there was several things with the group and the way it had gone that were not congruent with my own core values on a lot of things. So I decided that it was time to just step away and have somebody else into that role. So I think if we're being kind of, I won't use the word force, but almost to do something that's not congruent with our core value, that fact alone will truly suck our energy and drain our energy, as I said, just like a battery. So I will actually finish with this quote here: work smarter and not harder. And I think that, if we follow those eight different hacks during the day, and it's easy to get busy and it's all sounding good on when we see it on paper or we see this on a presentation here, but I guess the challenge is to be constantly reminded to delegate, to take those breaks, to sleep properly, to eat the right things, to, set a certain time and to prioritize, because life is always, bringing new stuff at us. And I'm sure, I've had it happen many times that one day, literally, you feel like your day's being hacked time-wise, that everything or almost everything that you had planned is, somebody else is demanding the time. And sometimes it's personal stuff, sometimes it's work stuff, sometimes it's deadline. So those things do happen. But at the end of the day, with the 365 days of the year, if, you have more control over most of your days, is just such a nicer feeling. So hopefully this, brought to your attention, the fact that maybe you were wasting time on things that were not valuable for you. And hopefully those tips, and again, it's nothing probably necessarily new to you, but I hope that hearing it again is a good reminder for you to set those, boundaries and set your workplace in a certain way and set your priorities. Because like I said, it's easy for other people's priority to make it on our list. And then, you look at your week, your month, and your year, you're like, whoa, what happened to this? So I think, obviously we are in society and we have to integrate with other people, but we have to, we owe it to ourselves to go back and know what we stand for and what we want to accomplish. So hopefully this insight was good to create that awareness. As I mentioned, there's a whole chapter in the book on that. And talking about the book, if you would like to download the first section of the book, you can text to the phone number 1-716-203-1356. And if you text the word hack, you will get the first section of the book. You can also purchase the book on Amazon, a paper copy or a Kindle version. It is also on many other sites as well. And it's filled with those hacks that I'm talking about, because at the end of the day, we're all busy and we just have to, pay attention of where we're spending our time. So next week, we will have the podcast at our same time at 11 o'clock. And I will have actually a special guest next week, and I'm super excited about that interview. So make sure that you tune in, because I know the information given by my guest would be, very cutting edge, and you will learn a lot. So have a great week, everyone. This was Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp for What the Hack, the podcast. I'm Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, and this is What the Heck, the podcast that dives into what the heck is going on in the world of health and well-being, explores how to optimize your mindset and your lifestyle, and shares practical tools so that you can achieve your fullest potential. Join me and a special guest each week as we discuss everything from biohacking to diet personalization to cutting-edge detox methods to setting and staying accountable to your goals. Ready to find out what the heck you can do to stay healthy, sharp, and at the top of your game? Let's get started. This has been a Wellness on the Go production.